It is here. The hallowed return of an old legend. Back from the beyond, it's the Debate Desk. The following segment is for the undisputed Debate Desk Championship. To my right is the challenger, sporting a 1-1 record, Mr. Noah Schwartz. And to my left, he is the carryover champion. Here against his will to defend his title, Justin Narveson. Gentlemen, it's back.
It's back.
Yeah, it is back.
It's back.
Well, judging by what happened in pregame, I think that this is going to be a fun debate. So guys, you know the rules, but for any first-timers watching, here's how this will work. I'll ask you 3 questions. Each of you will have 60 seconds to state your case before I offer my own take and decides who wins the best question. Best 2 out of 3 wins the segment and the title. Any questions? Okay, each question pertains to the NFL as the league enters week 9 of 18. So as I get my stopwatch ready, generally this is just how they used to do it, is that they pull it out as the segment was about to commence or something. At least that's what I think.
That's what I remember.
All right, 60 seconds are on the clock. So Noah, being our challenger, you will start first. So the question that we're going to debate first is, what do you think will happen first this year? Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy getting fired, or the Detroit Lions winning a football game? Noah, your time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lions will win a football game before Bears head coach Matt Nagy gets the axe. These are 2 things that are just going to happen. Nagy is going to get fired, but I am almost entirely confident that they're going to wait until the end of the season. They're going to show him that courtesy before giving him his papers and cutting him loose. But this Lions team, despite their 0-8 record, they're really not as bad. Excuse me. They're really not as bad as their record suggests. They've got a good coach. Jared Goff is a pretty good quarterback. I'm not saying that they could challenge for any playoff spot, especially not with a record like that. But they're not the 0-16 Lions of Dan Orlovsky's time.
All right, Justin, you'll have 60 seconds to rebuttal. Here we go.
Obviously, Matt Nagy's getting fired first. He gives off play calling duties. Justin Fields goes off. It's coincidental, and it's clear as day. And the Lions, is Jared Goff really a winning quarterback at this point? Every season he's had without Sean McVay, he's lost. Every single one. He hasn't had a winning season in the NFL without Sean McVay at the helm. And do we really think, when you're getting called out by your head coach, do you really think you're the quarterback for them? He got called out by Dan Campbell straight out. Said, hey, he's got to do better. Has he done better? Absolutely not. Do the Lions have a very one-dimensional offense? Yes. It's running the ball right now, especially with the 2-headed monster of DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, which I do love me Jamal Williams. But Matt Nagy is just all around terrible, has terrible play calling, and is just terrible for that Bears organization. I see him getting fired before the Lions end up winning one.
Some interesting takes. I do agree, Matt Nagy, at some point this season, is going to get fired, whether that would be 2 weeks from the end of the year, because the NFL announced that teams can start interviewing for coaching vacancies 2 weeks before the regular season ends. But I also agree that, you know, the Lions, they are a better team that had an 0-8 record states. They've played some good football. It's a tough one. But I do think even though Matt Nagy is going to get fired, he's in the McCaskies are in his corner, so Detroit's going to win first. Point Noah. Gentlemen, next question is this. Well, obviously we know that the Kansas City Chiefs have totally regressed this season on the defensive side, and Patrick Mahomes is not being Patrick Mahomes. He's turned into somewhat of a shell of that. But the question is, can the Kansas City Chiefs keep up with the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers in the AFC West? Justin, we'll start with you. Go.
This is an obvious answer. The Chiefs have so much talent. I mean, you got Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes on the same offense, all top of the line at their position. They are great talents, and they still have it. And then you look at the Chargers starting to sputter again, going back to what they looked like last year, and sputtering out here in the recent weeks. You got the Raiders and the terrible situation that's happened there with John Gruden getting fired and the whole Henry Ruggs situation that came out today. And they really don't have any weapons on offense anymore besides Darren Waller, who's still injured, and Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr. And you look at that defense, can that defense win them games? Possibly, but they have given up a ton of points this year, and I think the Chiefs will catch them fairly easily here in the coming weeks. I think the Chargers sputter out as well a little bit. Even though I like the Chargers, I think the Chiefs are still the better, more talented team.
Chiefs are still the talented and better team. Well, Noah, what do you got to say to that?
Well, look, I agree with a lot of what Justin says, but I don't think that the Chiefs will be able to catch the Raiders and the Chargers in that division. But here's the thing. I don't think they need to. They're already in a pretty big hole, but this team isn't a regular season team. The postseason's where this team thrives. I think that the way this team is built, even though Patrick Mahomes' Cinderella story has turned back into a pumpkin, I still think that he can lead this team to some wins, sneak into a wild card spot, and play in the playoffs like this team is built to play in. I don't think they need to be able to catch the Raiders and the Chargers, and I think they're right where they want to be.
That's an interesting take there. That's true. Kansas City is, even though they right now are on the edge of the playoff picture. The playoffs definitely are not without the question. However, Noah, my original question was, can the Chiefs catch the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers to take over and win the AFC West title? You didn't answer that, so by default, Justin gets the point.
All right, fair enough.
Well, so just like every other debate desk, it comes down to the final question, winner take all. Yesterday, the Los Angeles Rams traded for Denver Broncos linebacker Von Miller, sending a couple draft picks Denver's way. Clearly, Denver's going in a rebuild, but the LA Rams are going all in on a January run. Do they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? Noah, the challenger, will start with you.
No. They don't. They just don't. Look, if you give me a choice between one team and the field in any division, in any sport, you got to take the field, no matter how good that team is. Look, the Rams are good, but they're certainly no world beater. Stafford's been great, but we're talking about this. We're talking about them as the presumptive NFC champion because of one addition, Von Miller. Von Miller is great. He's a great guy and he's a great player, but ever since Super Bowl 50, ever since he led that Broncos team to a Super Bowl, has he really done anything? Has he really had that much of an impact on these, let's be honest, abysmal Denver Broncos teams in the 5 years since then? Has he? And he's just going to step in and make this Rams team from one of the best teams in the conference to undisputed conference champion? No way. No way. I'm taking the field. Aaron Rodgers, every other team in that conference. Come on.
Right, with the second to spare, Mr. Noah. But Justin, you have a case to make for the Rams over here.
I have a case to make for Von Miller. Von Miller has been struggling with injuries ever since that Super Bowl 50 run. Have the Rams had any major injuries in recent memory? No, because they have an amazing medical staff and amazing staff around them to help them combat those injuries and come back better than where they were. You add Aaron Donald and Von Miller to the same front, which one are you stopping? Because you're not stopping both at the same time. It's going to be impossible. And with Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp clicking off the walls right now and going absolute crazy, Kupp on absolute record-breaking pace right now, it's an unstoppable offense at the moment, especially with Darrell Henderson coming out as this amazing player that he showed flashes of last year but didn't really have. And now you add Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp emerging again, Von Miller back into that, a crazy pass rush with Aaron Donald, and then Jalen Ramsey to lock down the outside. How do you stop this Rams team? They're clearly going to end up in the Super Bowl.
This is going to be a tougher one than I recently imagined. Yes, the Rams are a very good team. Having an actual quarterback in Matt Stafford, who I thought was wasted in Detroit, lead a high-flying offense, and then also to have a lot of weapons on defense is fantastic. But another team that has really good weapons on defense is the Arizona Cardinals, but they lost to the Packers, so that is a question mark. Everything is going to be told on November 28th when the Packers and the Rams face each other. But right now, I do have to say, I personally think that the Rams do not get to the playoffs. They do not represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. That I think the field's gonna. That means Noah is our new champion.
Did you just say they won't make the playoffs?
I misspoke. They're not going to get to the Super Bowl. You see, whenever I get into a train of thought, Justin, sometimes words slip out of my mouth. But yeah, Noah, the host, takes back his title. He's now the first 2-time debate desk champion. Guys, what do you have to say about this match?
Know your place.
Clearly, this was rigged from the get-go. Blake had some thoughts in mind.
Okay, well, moving on.